The British Royal Mail has been privatized, but is struggling to modernize. The flood of parcels during the corona pandemic brings an intermediate high, but now reforms must follow. More than 500 years old, the British Royal Mail is an institution. It has seen many types of leadership since the days of Henry VIII and has been privatized in 2013. When it comes to operating a traditional post office profitably and reliably at the same time, two things can now be said. First, that a pandemic can bring valuable breathing space. The Royal Mail share price has more than tripled since spring 2020. And second, that the British Post Office cannot be directed from Lake Zurich. No Swiss person tried that, but a German. The manager Rico, based on Lake Zurich, was promoted to the top post of the Royal Mail in June 2018 with a very lucrative welcome package. Beck had managed GLS, the very profitable subsidiary for international parcel delivery. Now he could arm his mother for those trends that have plagued many long-established postal operators for years. The dwindling mailing of letters, high costs, a state supply mandate, a lack of digitization and growing competition. Buck did not want to give up his Swiss place of residence for this. But after less than 2 years, in May 2020, the Royal Mail gave up and released him with immediate effect. The British call this gardening leave. The commentator for the Daily Telegraph noted in a sharp-tongued manner that Buck was the first former head of the company who could now devote himself to gardening where he had previously done his job, with a view on Lake Zurich. After Buck's departure and an interim solution, the Royal Mail now has its fourth boss in 3 years. Simon Thompson has been pushing the pace of reform since January 2021. The new CEO knows the two defining elements of these days: the pandemic and digitization. Last year, Thompson worked for several months in the NHS healthcare test and trace program, which tracks down coronavirus infection chains. Before that, he worked for the online retailer and logistics company Ocado. The pandemic has a light and a dark side for Royal Mail. It has exacerbated its basic problem, but at the same time gave the company an operational breathing space. From 2004 to spring 2020, the volume of letters sent by Royal Mail shrank by around half. The decline became more pronounced during the pandemic. In the summer of 2020, the number of letters transported fell by a third. But at the same time, online shopping fueled by lockdowns caused the parcel business to explode by 31%. In the summer half of the year, parcel sales exceeded that of letters for the first time, and the trend continued in winter. So it happened that the share price shot through the roof and market observers revised their long pessimistic assessments. For the financial year ending March 2021, analysts expect record sales of more than £12 billion and a profit of £350 million. It would be the highest profit since 2014 and more than twice as much as last year. And the strategy derived from this. The former letter monopoly wants to focus more on parcels, increase automation and build new distribution centers. In the past, it was always difficult to get the 150,000 or so employees involved in conversions. Only in December, after a 2-year dispute, was an agreement with the union. The fact that it had taken so long was one of the reasons for Buck's sudden garden break. But there is no guarantee that the reforms will now take place as hoped, says the broker Liberum. They have to be implemented in the middle of a very tense day-to-day business. It would also be frivolous to see the package blessing as a salvation. UBS warns of 3 risks. After the end of the pandemic, more orders are likely to continue online than before, but the pace of growth could slow down, or I would even say would slow down. In addition, competitors like Hermes or DPD are not sleeping and are also investing. They are agile. Unlike in the mail market, Royal Mail's market share for parcels has fallen to around 35% since privatization. Last but not least, the company soon loses one of its last privileges. The Royal Mail relies on the infrastructure of the post offices, the nationwide 11,500 post offices. But they don't belong to the company, unlike the iconic red mailboxes. The post offices remained state-owned after 2013, but had signed an exclusive contract with Royal Mail. This contract expires in March, and the follow-up contract makes it possible for post offices to also accept parcels for other deliverers. They too have recognized the signs of the times and do not want to leave the business outside of the Royal Mail to the Hermes or DPD parcel shops. Perhaps in return, the heaviest state burden will be eased: the basic service mandate. It requires the Royal Mail to deliver letters and parcels to any UK address 6 days a week for the same price everywhere. Something could change in the frequency, for example. In 2004, the second delivery per day was ended. Now it could hit the Saturday delivery. The regulatory authority has already stated that this would not result in any significant disadvantages for customers. They estimate the Royal Mail could save more than £200 million a year with this. At the moment, however, some Brits would be happy if the post came more often. Winter weather, sickness absence due to the pandemic, and distance requirements for the often manual mail processing have made waiting for deliveries in some parts of the country a test of patience since December. Basically, however, the citizens are quite satisfied with the services, even if the postage has increased steadily. The privatization was largely successful, judged the Association of Taxpayers in 2019. It is often forgotten that in government hands the Royal Mail was anything but a guarantee of quality. And if you want to stay informed, please subscribe to my channel and to my other channels. I'll see you in my next video. Auf Wiedersehen.